Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Cynthia Gwiazda, Community Services Librarian at Hagaman Library. I'm going to discuss some new hot off the press adult fiction that's now available at the library this November. So welcome to our monthly new fiction book talk. So without further ado, I will show you some new fiction that you can check out. Okay. So new and featured adult fiction at Hagaman Memorial Library for November of 2022. The first book is called The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden. Lolly Blanchard's life only seems to give her lemons. 10 years ago, after her mother's tragic death, she broke up with her first love and abandoned her dream of opening a restaurant in order to keep her family's struggling Seattle diner afloat and care for her younger sister and grieving father. Now, a decade later, she dutifully whips up the diner's famous lemon meringue pies each morning while still pining for all she's lost. As Lolly's 33rd birthday approaches, her quirky great aunt gives her a mysterious gift, 3 lemon drops, each of which allows her to live a single day in a life that might have been hers. What if her mom hadn't passed away? What if she had opened her own restaurant in England? What if she hadn't broken up with the only man she's ever loved? A magical novel about second chances. The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie is a poignant, hopeful must read for anyone who has ever wondered about a different path. The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie, and that's by Rachel Linden. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Lily and her ex-husband Ryle have just settled into a civil co-parenting rhythm when she suddenly bumps into her first love, Atlas, again. After nearly 2 years separated, she is elated that for once time is on their side, and she immediately says yes when Atlas asks her on a date. But her excitement is quickly hampered by the knowledge that, though they're no longer married, Ryle is still very much a part of her life, and Atlas Corrigan is the one man he will hate being in his ex-wife and daughter's life. Switching between the perspectives of Lily and Atlas, It Starts With Us picks up right where the epilogue for the gripping, pulse-pounding, best-selling phenomenon It Ends With Us left off, revealing more about Atlas's past and following Lily as she embraces a second chance at true love while navigating a jealous ex-husband. It proves that no one delivers an emotional read like Colleen Hoover. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. The next book is The Boys from Biloxi by John Grisham. For most of the last 100 years, Biloxi was known for its beaches, resorts, and seafood industry. But it had a darker side. It was also notorious for corruption and vice, everything from gambling, prostitution, bootleg liquor, and drugs to contract killings. The vice was controlled by a small cabal of mobsters, many of them rumored to be members of the Dixie Mafia. Keith Rudy and Hugh Malco grew up in Biloxi in the 60s and were childhood friends, as well as Little League All-Stars. But as teenagers, their lives took them in different directions. Keith's father became a legendary prosecutor, determined to clean up the coast. Hugh's father became the boss of Biloxi's criminal underground. Keith went to law school and followed in his father's footsteps. Hugh preferred the nightlife and worked in his father's clubs. The two families were headed for a showdown, one that would happen in a courtroom. Life itself hangs in the balance in the Boys from Biloxi, a sweeping saga rich with history and with a large cast of unforgettable characters. That's The Boys from Biloxi by John Grisham. Listen to Me by Tess Gerritsen. Boston homicide detective Jane Rizzoli and medical examiner Maura Isles are newly plagued by what seems like a completely senseless murder. Sophia Suarez, a widow and nurse who was universally liked by her neighbors, lies bludgeoned to death in her own home. But anything can happen behind closed doors, and Sophia seemed to have plenty of secrets in her last days, making covert phone calls to traceless burner phones. When Jane finally makes a connection between Sophia and the victim of a hit and run from months earlier, the case only grows more blurry. What exactly was Sophia involved in? One thing's clear, the killer will do anything it takes to keep their secret safe. Meanwhile, Angela Rizzoli hasn't had a decent night's sleep in all the years since her daughter became a homicide detective. Maybe the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. Nothing in Angela's neighborhood gets by her. Not the gossip about a runaway teenager down the block, and definitely not the strange neighbors who have just moved in across the street. Angela's sure there's no such thing as coincidence in her sleepy suburb. If only Jane would listen. Instead, she writes off Angela's concerns as the result of an overactive imagination. But Angela's convinced there's a real wolf in her vicinity, and her cries might now fall on deaf ears. With so much happening on the Sophia case, Jane and Maura already struggle to see the forest for the trees. But will they lose sight of something sinister happening much closer to home? That's Listen to Me by Tess Gerritsen. The next book is called Livid by Patricia Cornwell. In this thrilling installment of the #1 best-selling series, Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Kay Scarpetta finds herself a reluctant star witness in a sensational televised murder trial, causing chaos in Old Town Alexandria. Chief Medical Examiner Kay Scarpetta is the reluctant star witness in a sensational murder trial when she receives shocking news. The judge's sister has been found dead. At first glance, it appears to be a home invasion, but then why was nothing stolen, and why is the garden strewn with dead plants and insects? Although there is no apparent cause of death, Scarpetta recognizes telltale signs of the unthinkable, and she knows the worst is yet to come. The forensic pathologist finds herself pitted against a powerful force that returns her to the past, and her time to catch the killer is running out. That's Livid by Patricia Cornwell. Death on a Winter Stroll by Francine Matthews. Nantucket Police Chief Meredith Folger is acutely conscious of the stress COVID-19 has placed on the community she loves. Although the island has proved a refuge for many during the pandemic, the cost to Nantucket has been high. Mary hopes that the Christmas stroll, one of Nantucket's favorite traditions, in which Main Street is transformed into a winter wonderland, will lift the island's spirits. But the arrival of a large-scale TV production and the Secretary of State and her family complicates matters significantly. The TV shoot is plagued with problems from within, as a shady, power-hungry producer clashes with strong-willed actors. Across Nantucket, the secretary's troubled stepson keeps shaking off his security detail to visit a dilapidated house near conservation land, where an intriguing recluse guards secrets of her own. With all parties overly conscious of spending too much time in the public eye and secrets swirling around both camps, it's difficult to parse what behavior is suspicious or not until the bodies turn up. Now it's up to Mary and Detective Howie Seitz to find a connection between two seemingly unconnected murders and catch the killer. But when everyone has a motive, and half of the suspects are politicians and actors, how can Mary and Howie tell fact from fiction? This latest installment in critically acclaimed author Francine Matthews' Mary Folger series is an immersive escape to festive Nantucket, a poignant exploration of grief as a result of parental absence, and a delicious new mystery to keep you guessing. That's Death on a Winter Stroll by Francine Matthews. Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Demon Copperhead is set in the mountains of southern Appalachia. It's the story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single wide trailer. With no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. And a plot that never pauses for breath, relayed in his own unsparing voice, he braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. Through all of it, he reckons with his own invisibility in a popular culture where even the superheroes have abandoned rural people in favor of cities. Many generations ago, Charles Dickens wrote David Copperfield from his experience as a survivor of institutional poverty and its damages to children in his society. Those problems have yet to be solved in ours. Dickens is not a prerequisite for readers of this novel, but he provided its inspiration. In transposing a Victorian epic novel to the contemporary American South, Barbara Kingsolver enlists Dickens' anger and compassion, and above all, his faith in the transformative powers of a good story. Demon Copperhead speaks for a new generation of lost boys, and all those born into beautiful, cursed places they can't imagine leaving behind. That's Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. The next book is called Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. Oliver McAfee knows what it feels like to start over. Her picture-perfect life living in Boston, married to a brilliant cardiothoracic surgeon, raising their beautiful son Asher, was upended when her husband revealed a darker side. She never imagined that she would end up back in her sleepy New Hampshire hometown, living in the house she grew up in and taking over her father's beekeeping business. Lily Campanello is familiar with do-overs too. When she and her mom relocate to Adams, New Hampshire for her final year of high school, they both hope it will be a fresh start. And for just a short while, these new beginnings are exactly what Olivia and Lily need. Their paths cross when Asher falls for the new girl in school, and Lily can't help but fall for him too. With Ash, she feels happy for the first time, yet at times she wonders if she can trust him completely. Then one day, Olivia receives a phone call. Lily is dead, and Asher is being questioned by the police. Olivia is adamant that her son is innocent, but she would be lying if she didn't acknowledge the flashes of his father's temper in Ash. And as the case against him unfolds, she realizes he's hidden more than he shared with her. Mad Honey is a riveting novel of suspense, an unforgettable love story, and a moving and powerful exploration of the secrets we keep and the risks we take in order to become ourselves. That's Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. And that's the end of our book talk for today. Thank you very much for watching. And please follow the Hagaman Memorial Library online for more recommendations. You can go to our website at www.hagamanlibrary.org, and on Facebook and Twitter at Hagaman Library, Instagram at Hagaman_East Haven. Let us know in the comments what made your to-be read list and what you're currently reading. And in the meantime, we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving from your friends at Hagaman Memorial Library. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this book talk for November. And I will be back next month with our December fiction new bestsellers. Thank you.